This is me finishing the frame of the greenhouse. It came together pretty well. I used Kreg jig screws and the jig to put those in. I find that just gives the best joint whenever you're going butt end to butt end like that on this type of material. So maybe I could have designed that better, but some of this I ended up doing on the fly to some degree. And then I installed the back. I'm a little concerned. I ended up getting a chipboard, and I got a feeling that's not going to last long term, but as long as it gives us a few years, that's fine, and then I can just pull the thing out and pop a new one back on, or a 3/4 ply or something like that. It's pretty easy to install. You notice there's a gap on the top below the 2x4, and as I was installing it, I didn't like that. So I pulled the boards back off, and then I figured out that something must have been with that 2x4, that it was bowed up, that it had just a natural bow in it. So I ended up taking that out after I figured out what type of screws it used. I had put in, it was the small, I think it was T15 bit. So here I finally figured that out, and I took it off, and then I leaned on it in order to get it to install. Sorry about the dark picture here with the backlight of the window and the garage door. I didn't realize how dark it was making the video. And then this is the start of building the frames for the windows themselves, or for the doors of the front. So I'll cut these at 45 degrees. This is the top and the bottom edge. I was doing this by myself, so I had limited help with the various supportive boards and stuff. So I was using Sawhorse to support it as it transitioned out. So then I cut that V-notch in there, and you'll see when I attach them together that was the top. And that worked really well. That actually tied together very nicely. So here's the assembly process, and I actually ended up gluing these and then using the Kreg jigs as well. So you can see the end was butt end, and this end had that V-notch in it. I probably could have done a butt end, but it would have taken another cut, and I didn't want to use a whole nother board. The V-notch was just easier to put that together. So there's the one side getting assembled now. And I just use old scrap pieces of the opposite end of 45 to tie that together. And then you see I did the Kreg jig there and attached that with Kreg jig screws. If you don't have one of those Kreg jigs, you got to get one of those. That is a tool that is just really nice. It makes it so much easier to attach joints like that. I only have the single one. I do plan to get the double one eventually. Maybe that'll be something I ask for Christmas or something. My wife always seems to like to buy me tools, so that's the main time when I do that type of thing, get tools. I like to do projects without buying extra tools if possible, just because I'm cheap and I don't want to spend money on tools unless I really, really need the tool. So here's me just looking at the frame, seeing if it's going to work. Bye-bye.